We are like because we are only 10.
Very good. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, come. What is not complete?
Hello, iPad. No, you have to rename your device. Put your name there. Your name should be on your device. Okay, I will check. start with the national anthem. Let us stand wherever we are for the national anthem as it starts.
Nigeria's call of to serve with love and strength and faith.
Now take the second stanza of the national anthem as the national prayer. Together, O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide thou our leaders right, help our youth to good to know, in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true. Great lofty heights of faith, to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, distinguished fellows on the line, and those who are watching us online, who are not fellows, who are watching us on YouTube. Good evening here in Nigeria and UK. Good morning to you in America. Now, we start this program, which is for the induction ceremony of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine. But before we go on, we have to observe a moment of silence in honor of three fellows. If you had this induction ceremony as planned on the 28th of May 2020, who have been with us. Unfortunately, they have passed on, and this included a member of the Board of Trustees, Professor Jonathan Azubike, another member who was appointed editor of the journal, one of the editors, Professor Sunday Bwala, and also another fellow, Dr. Leonard Jovi Kufeji. A moment of silence. The soul of the faithful departed rest in peace. We may have our seat now. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen on the platform, please put your name as advertised on your device, because anyone whose name is not known to us may be put in the waiting room permanently. Kindly put your name, your full name as we know it, to know you are one of us. Those who are not supposed to be on this platform are to watch us on our YouTube channel. The distinguished fellow on the platform and the good ladies and gentlemen watching us online, we want to start the program by having introduction of our members. The chairman of the Board of Trustees is Professor Tolu Odugbemi. Professor Tolu Odugbemi, please spotlight Professor Tolu Odugbemi. Another member of the Board of Trustees who is online is Professor S. Oluwadunton. Member of the Board of Trustees, please spotlight Professor Oluwadunton. Another member of the Board of Trustees on the platform is Professor Isaac Fodorunso Adewale. Please spotlight Professor Adewale. I just go in order, we see them as we go. Also on the Board of Trustees, we have Professor Nimi Dimpa Briggs. Also, we have Professor Sonny Olukawade Deboda. We also have on the Board of Trustees Professor John Idoku. Also on the platform, spotlight, if you can get that easily, is Professor Jude Ohairi. Another member of the Board of Trustees on the platform is Professor Ajeshola Madje Otumi. We have also Professor Dili Dogo, a member of the Board of Trustees. The trustees have met and I'm the secretary to the Board of Trustees, Professor Oluwole Atoyebi. I now want to call on the chairman of the Board of Trustees, Professor Tolu Odugbemi, FAS, NNON, FNDM, to address this ceremony. Professor Odugbemi, please. I warmly welcome the highly distinguished members of the Board of Trustees of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine, the Secretary of the BOT of NAMED, and new Foundation Fellows, Honorary Fellow, and guest lecturers being inducted into the fellowship of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine today. This is a great development in advancing the course of medical and dental professions in Nigeria. I congratulate you and all of us on this historic milestone in our profession and various specialties. A lot of effort, time, and persistent, meticulous, and skillful planning have culminated in the successful launch of this project. The past President's Forum of the National Progressive Medical College of Nigeria, notably Professor S. Oluwadunton, debated the project at his meetings for years at the West African Postgraduate Medical College, in particular, Professor Kayode Odishota, former Director of Human Resources Development at the West African Health Organization, also suggested the need for an academy such as NAMED at the time. Many other individuals deserve commendation for various roles in midwifing this great academy. We have followed due process and an academy is duly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission of Nigeria. At a stage, the registration process ran into a hitch on a right to use Nigerian in the name. The former Honorable Minister of Health, Professor I.C. Adewale, had to clarify to the federal government through the Secretary to the Government of the Federation a usage in the name Nigerian Academy. For registration of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine was also written by the Honorable Minister of Health to the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Consequently, we received a letter dated 15th March 2019 conveying approval of the presidency for the use of Nigeria in the name of our academy. We thank all the concerned ministries and agencies of the federal government of Nigeria for the support granted us in making our dream a reality. In all these strategic moves, Professor Oluwole Atoyebi, DFMC, worked very hard in coordinating and pushing the papers through various stages until the registration by the Corporate Affairs Commission was finally done. God is great. On behalf of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine, I thank our sponsors, the management of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, and the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, who also ensured the smooth administrative machinery that landed us here today. I appreciate the huge honor bestowed upon me as the pioneer chairman of the Board of Trustees. This is a monumental responsibility, but with teamwork and divine guidance, the assignment will continue to be discharged successfully. Our major goal as a non-partisan and expert body is to make the Nigerian Academy of Medicine relevant to the needs of our society through research, consultations, and expert advice to various government and private organizations. Our academy promotes good health locally and globally, respect ethics, cultures, traditions, and religious beliefs of our people, and be gender sensitive, and be focused with the laboratory practices.
We can't hear him anymore.
We thank our elders for their wisdom in the constitution for this great team of foundation fellows, who are all eminent scholars of repute. We have a NAMED logo, a functional website, an email address, and our own official academic gown. which has been started, we put on for this ceremony. Our interim publications committee, consisting of 5 editorial experts, chaired by Professor David Yosukupi, under publications committee, that the editorial board of the Journal of Nigerian Academy of Medicine, which has Professor Stanley Ayawu as editor-in-chief, Professor Itope Gumbadete, and Professor Sunday Wala Lesemeki as deputy editors. The Journal of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine, JNAMED, will enhance the visibility of NAMED as a committed, dynamic, ethical, and scientific. In furtherance to our objectives as contained in our memoranda, we have guest lectures to be delivered by our eminent colleagues, Professor Yewande Tomori, FAS, NNON, and Dr. Fatima Kiari, MWACS, and PhD Master of Doctor. Professor Tomori is a foremost professor of virology of international repute, former regional virologist of the World Health Organization, African region, pioneer vice chancellor of the University, Nigeria, former president of the Nigerian Academy of Science. He also wears many other caps at the national and international level, which I cannot count for now because of time space. Our second speaker, Dr. Kiari, is Chair, International Agency for Prevention of Blindness, West Africa Subregion, Chairman, Yokuma Society of Nigeria. Dr. Kiari is Director, Institute of Advanced Medical Research and Training, IMRAN, College of Health Sciences, University of Abuja, and also Program Consultant and Medical Advisor. Life of the World Yokuma programs for doctrinal pathway, Ethiopia. Today's induction ceremony will allow us to chart a common and respectable course for the academy so that it will serve all and exist for all. God bless you all. God bless the Nigerian Academy of Medicine. God bless Nigeria. Thank you for listening. That was the speech by the chairman of the Board of Trustees, Professor Tolu Odibemi. Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen a number of people on the platform who are not fellows and we are not expected on the platform. Please, not only should you go to the waiting room, you can watch this program on YouTube or our Twitter channel. We are even seeing some chatting on the platform who are not supposed to be here. Please let this stop. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are to listen to a keynote address to be given by Professor Oyewale Tomori. The chairman has introduced him, so I don't need to introduce him again. Furthermore, a basket is on page 48 of the program we have been sent to fellows. So I want to call on our keynote speaker. The first keynote speaker is going to be, as promised, to be brief, 15 minutes. Professor Oyewale Tomori, FAS, NNON, to come and deliver his address. Professor Tomori to kindly unmute himself
I've done so. Thank you very much, sir. I need permission to show my slides.
So that we can see. And when he finishes, it should remain standing because we are going to confer the honorary fellowship on him thereafter as approved by the Board of Trustees. Professor Iwale Tomodu, please.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me? Can the host allow me to share my slides?
Please, we make you a co-host now.
Okay, that's, I
So
think
that
I've
you can
seen.
share your slides, please.
Thank you very much. I hope you can see my slides now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I consider it a very great honor to be called to give the keynote address on this august occasion of the induction ceremony of the Foundation Fellows of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine. It took me quite some time to know what to talk about, and I chose a topic that may be quite strange to a lot of people. I was looking at Nigeria and COVID-19, and I'm saying from health to health. The health in the first one is quite different from what we know as health. But I want to look at health in Nigeria from the perspective of the man on the street. What has it been like for him or for her? WHO, of course, has described, we know what WHO says about it is not just absence of disease, but also all the other things being equal. Your physical, your mental, your social well-being. That was in 1948. In 2019, WHO added a little bit, there's not been a change actually, but just said that the enjoyment of high attainable of health is one of the fundamental rights, which should be without distinction, no matter where you come from, politically or so other nation. And in the process of thinking about this, I kept imagining I've never been to hell. So I imagined what hell was going to be like. I checked the website and I found this thing describing a place of bonfire with people jumping into it and all that. And I saw a little one where it shows when maybe a white man or a white woman who is in hell. Usually they will play a black person normally, but I was glad to see this one. And what was paradise looking like? It talks of, blooming flowers, good sky and all that. And so I wanted to look at the Nigerian health from colonial times, even up to now. And I call what I call a journey of health through health to health. I went through the colonial reports from 1898 and up to now, which are in the archives of some records, and showed what was happening, what was health like in those days. And some of this information came up from all this. In the 1933 report, we gave a list of the total number of 662 patients and giving what were their problems, all to malaria, to gonorrhea, and all those type of things. And then just the highlights of the 1914 colonial report, about 27 Europeans dying, 13 of them in 1913. The malaria was the most prevalent cause of their death. Pneumonia was severe in natives. That's supposed to be us. 15% of them dead. Yellow fever, that interested me. And why I picked this one. Yellow fever in Warri, Onitsha, Degema, and listed all the parts of the country. But all the cases, believe it or not, were Europeans because the natives don't get yellow fever. Then there was severe outbreak of beriberi and then smallpox by the grace of God in Ekiti. For those who come from Ekiti will know that smallpox raged in that place also at one time. But by the grace of God, there's no more smallpox. So where's Nigeria today, 60 years after independence? This is the Nigeria at a glance with keynote indicators showing our population, the number under 15 and all that. What is the percentage of DPT coverage in Nigeria? A human development index was 61 out of 189, which is not quite nothing to really smile about. And the financing that the public finances just about 3.67, while the private people take almost 74% of that. And we see the work health force in Nigeria is really very low. And in terms of mortality, we see the figure that we have in there. And so the question in my mind that over the past 3 generations, the preventable diseases which my generation escaped from either naturally or from vaccination, the same one that our own children got through vaccination, and now the ones that we're having to contend with right now. That tells me something. And so I went back to the word of Professor Lucas, 2000, almost 20 years ago, described the Nigerian health system as sick, very sick, and in urgent need of intensive care. It was blind, lacking vision. It was deaf, doesn't respond to the cries of the people. It is impotent, similarly incapable of doing what others around them are doing. And then he concluded that every organ of Nigerian health system was ailing. That was Professor Lucas. And I decided to illustrate this Professor Lucas' statement with a few examples. I started looking at Lassa fever, which came to us in 1969, 52 years ago. And we still don't seem to have any solution to that one. That this Gantt or this graph shows the rest also shows which states of the country were having Lassa fever from the years, just trying to get this number out. Showing the states where you can see up to the first early years, the situation became worse from the time of from about the 20,000s, when within virtually every state in the country was having Lassa fever. That map shows the distribution of Lassa fever over the years. The red shows where they are occurring in the different parts of the state. But 1979 to 1988, we didn't find anything, not because but our system was not picking up those cases. But gradually that improved. And you can see by 2009 to 2018, Lassa fever was all over the country, every part states. Any state that didn't report, I don't think they was correct, just that they weren't looking at it. So again, the same situation, showing you what Lassa fever was. What I've done was to look at Lassa fever cases and look at the year 2018, we had 3,498. By 2019, the number has almost doubled to 55,067. Last year, we had 6,700 cases. And as of today, this is the figure that you have for 2021, which have already, as for this we've already got into 817. And yet we're not really got to the beginning of the problem of Lassa fever. It may be that we'll probably get even higher than what we had from last year. And so what are the responsible things? We know that these are rodents that are transmitting it. And I think as our level of filthiness increased in the country, we also began to see evidence of rodent transmitted through contact, through the increasing contact between rats and men in the country. And you see the refuse and the dirtiness all over our country, which attracts all the rodents in our cities and the filthy environment and the refuse heaps where we have all these rodents which are taking place. But you know what pained me most yesterday or 2 days ago was that CEPI, we're now starting the first vaccine trials. Where did it begin? Not this tells us something about our country. If there's any country that should be doing vaccine trial in, it should be Nigeria. It should be in Ghana. It shouldn't be Sierra Leone. It should be in any of those countries. But I think there's a lesson for us in this one. Let's look at Concord. But yellow fever is still exists in our country. And a little quicker. This was what happened to us in the period of 5 years between 1987 or the year 1992. We're actually running after yellow fever, elder skelter. When we get to the state, by the time we get to the place that's moved around the state. So we ran for 5 years, ran around this after yellow fever. That shows the places where yellow fever occurred in Nigeria. Keep asking. This is a diagram which shows reporting to the
It appears we lost connection with Professor Tomori. I'm sure he will rejoin shortly. Problem with technology in our environment. This failure of the internet connectivity. Please, once again, I want to announce the number of people who are outside, they are in the waiting room who want to come in, but we have announced that this is meant for only fellows, while others should watch what we are streaming on the social media, YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. Kindly advise your friends and families who are trying to join, because there are many out there. We are 95 inside. We lost connection with Professor Tomori before he has not concluded his talk. Let's wait a little bit for reconnection with Professor Tomori. He's back.
ṣe àmìkèjì ìwòrán inaugural lecture ọjà èsì lẹ́bẹ̀ ìwọ̀n ní èlò slides.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some technology failure there at the end of Tomori. I've spoken to him, he's trying to reconnect, he has not joined. When he rejoins, he will conclude his speech. We now go to the next keynote address by another renowned international speaker, Dr. Fatima Yari. I hope, Dr. Fatima, I saw you online. I hope you are still there. Please make her a co-host so you can share her slide to give us a brief keynote address in 15 minutes. Thank you. Please unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please go on, Dr. Kiari. You can see your slide.
Good afternoon, sir. Chairman of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine, distinguished Board of Trustees, eminent professors here today, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to express, first of all, my deepest gratitude to the Almighty and to the Chairman and Board of Trustees of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine for the invitation and the privilege of addressing this very august ceremony of Foundation Fellows of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine. My delight knows no bounds today, because let's face it, my presence here is really unlikely. I mean, I'm nowhere near the achievement of these brilliant fellows, pace setters who have held prominent leadership positions in the field of medicine. But today, we are celebrating hard work, excellence, accomplishments, and achievements over and above just clinical medicine. So this is quite personal to me, and I hope also motivating to the younger ones that will after me. Looking back, distinguished fellows, I'm certain you will recall how you have mentored younger ones and continue to mentor more, right? Well, it's about looking back yesterday, living today, and thinking into the future. Look around us, technology, globalization, disease, disruption. We need to stay above board, protect ourselves and our people and our profession. The value of our award today extends beyond just your immediate field of study and circle of influence. As the Bible says, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And as the Quran tells us, His light is like a niche within which is a lamp. The lamp is within glass. The glass, as it were, a pearly star, lit from the oil of the blessed olive tree. Sorry, there was a distraction on the... Lit from the oil of a blessed olive tree, neither of the east nor of the west, whose oil would almost glow, even if untouched by fire. Light upon light. God guides to his light whom he wills, and God presents examples of people. So that, Mr. Chairman, sir, there will be light upon the light which you, distinguished professors and fellows of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine, have already ignited in order to keep the torch burning to greater heights. Today, an honor has been bestowed upon you, medical doctors, distinguished foundation fellows who have shown evidence of unusual and outstanding contributions and performance in the field of medicine. Let the light that shines through you reflect the glory of your accomplishment. Let's come back to home. There are many ways to do that. As the medical profession is very wide, the leadership competencies and approaches are numerous. But from the point of view that I will, from my little experience and my little exposure, that I will want to touch on is to emphasize on the research approach, which is here with us in Nigeria, but we need to do more to harness it, to enhance it and translate it towards achieving universal health coverage and excellence in medical practice and healthcare. Okay, so why am I saying all this to you, distinguished fellows? Well, it's because it's a contribution towards evidence-based practice and how it will fit into the mentorship and leadership scheme. And by design, encouraging one of the purposes of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, We all know that research and information are transformative in the development of institutions. I'm not here to tell you what research is, but what we should be aiming for is clinical researchers in whatever platforms, whether it's a doctoral research or clinical research fellowships. These are members whose main interest is research with clear career progression. And host institutions must make adequate commitment in terms of provision of time. Yes, time. Let's not just focus on the clinical aspects. We also need to give time to research and infrastructure such that the whole effort attracts industry and funding, leading to a self-sustaining research institute. In this regard, universities play a crucial role in attracting these brilliant minds. That is why, as I speak before you today, Mr. Chairman, distinguished professors, if there's one name I will attempt to mention, it will be that of the Vice Chancellor of University of Abuja for providing the leadership and for graciously activating the Institute of Advanced Medical Research and Training, AMRAT, in Abuja. That is, of course, in addition to the already existing centers of excellence for medical research in our universities, for example, Ibadan, Kano, Sokoto, and Lagos, etc. There's no better time than now. These underscore the great advantage of continuity, multi-sectoral collaborations, and sound leadership. These also give us the avenues for your mentoring, distinguished professors, shining your light upon light. May I talk a little bit about my small experience? In my early days as a resident ophthalmologist, once we had a World Glaucoma Week, and we organized TV, media, the usual thing. So the next morning, somebody who was very high in his profession, high in government, came to my CMD in the hospital. Your doctors made me to come here today, he said. I was watching TV yesterday and the young man said, check your vision. Close one eye, check the vision, and close the other eye, open the first eye and check your vision. And then I realized that I could not see anything from my left eye. This very highly placed person had glaucoma and had lost vision in one eye without knowing it. Well educated, well positioned. That is when it struck me that indeed glaucoma is the silent thief of sight. Many years later, while we were on the Nigerian National Survey of Blindness and Vision Impairment, we found ourselves in extraneous living conditions, working circumstances, being away from home for more than 30 months. What kept us going? Purpose. And that purpose was reinforced. We needed to build a bridge between those people towards seeking and getting care to prevent blindness. We didn't have to wait for them to come to our clinics blind. Within the core of that purpose is patient-centeredness. So rule number one, define your purpose and hold yourself accountable to achieving it. I also said, let me see my country, since I'm going to 36 states of Nigeria, crisscrossing from the fringes of the Sahara Desert to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean, from the banks of River Niger to riding the clouds at Obudu while in awe of the Mandara Mountains. We even decided to take refuge in the caves of the Idonre Hills. Royalty, amazing phenotypic expression of genes across 3 generations of daughter, mother, and grandmother. And our fascination with the baobab tree. But one thing stood out for me. We had service for the survey. There is always a service for the survey. So we had service for the survey wherein At the end of each zone, we would organize cataract surgery for people that could not see due to cataract. We saw a lot of glaucomas too, but we couldn't do anything for them. Why? Because have you ever like held your boarding pass, run to the boarding gate, but you are late, and they tell you, sorry, gate closed, flight has left, you've missed it. So that is what happens with glaucoma blindness, irreversible. It is the leading cause of irreversible blindness in Nigeria and indeed in the world as a whole. So the global scholarship call for the PhD was childhood blindness and refractive errors. I applied for glaucoma, and they still granted it. I don't want to remain in the dark, Mr. H.A. told me. He's a lawyer with vision loss from advanced glaucoma. Major advances in medicine and healthcare, like that of intervention of cardiology, requires interchange of knowledge and ideas between researchers, and the unity of purpose is indispensable. Same for glaucoma, same for all eye diseases. A PhD is a very difficult period of study. PhDs push boundaries of knowledge. My international exposure gave me access to new ideas and methodologies, new teaching strategies, and diversity in academic and research networks. And life also happens. So a few years after I started my PhD, my father went into cardiac failure while he was in Maiduguri. This was several years after his quadruple bypass, which gave him scores of life, more than his father before him. When I asked his physician to let him travel to me where I could arrange for him to be treated, his physician said, "Doctor, are you sure he should travel?" He asked me this because his ejection fraction was 29%. Well, anyway, I insisted, and Mr. Carey and his wife, my mother, arrived the following day. That night, Mr. Carey did not sleep. Neither did Dr. Carey. I was working, he was managing how to breathe. By the time the doctor saw him, he was in excess of 6 liters of fluid overload with an AV block. And the doctor looked at me with downcast eyes. He is chain stroke breathing, he said. I mumbled inaudibly. My mom said, "What did he say?" I mumbled again to her. My strong, amazing mother just looked at me, and I silently recalled medical school. Chain stroke breathing is an end-of-life phenomenon. So my dad was immediately transferred to a specialist where he got a Medtronic cardioconverter CRTD inserted. Cardiovascular diseases are the leading causes of blindness. The leading causes of death globally, and accounting for 31% of death globally. But hey, look, because of research and modern technology, within a few hours, Mr. Carey was home, breathing normally, smiling, and happily playing with his grandchild. But the story was different for Mr. GS, who had high blood pressure. He continued to take his medication until he could no longer afford it. He went to hospital, and just like my father, he was diagnosed with cardiac failure. But the treatment available to him where he was here in Nigeria could not sustain him. It was a sad ending. The period after my PhD saw me immersed in developing global and national policy documents. Positivity remains my second keyword. Up till today, focus on the positive aspects. You want to keep up the good that you do. Surround yourself with good people. It's no wonder that associations like this congregate. People that show actions that they are positive and try to do the right, good things. My third keyword is prayer. A belief in a higher being helps us to dispose of our fears to the higher being. For the grace and mercy of Allah, For it is not by our own grade that we excel, but by his grace. And it is not by our own merit that we are able to contribute to humanity and be recognized positively, but by his mercy. I certainly did not start this glaucoma journey alone, and neither will I be the one to finish it. It is not about me, it is about purpose. I value teamwork and I appreciate my mentors for the unity of purpose, positivity, and prayer. Let me just recall the gold standard of polio eradication. When Salk started his journey in the 1950s with the killed vaccine of the polio, it took a slow turn until Sabin developed the oral vaccine. It became the catalyst that propelled a global collaboration. So many players came into play. I remember in the 1980s when the Rotary International was championing the cause of polio eradication. Before we knew it, so many collaborators, government agencies, traditional rulers, royalty, United Nations agencies, the Aliko Dangote Foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, workers, volunteers, you name it, everybody came on board. The result has been a successful global eradication of polio in 2020. Wow. But can we really point at who did it? No, we can't, because they were all united for a common purpose and a purpose achieved. So young people and early researchers are reminded here today that the bamboo shoot does not grow more than an inch in 5 years of watering and tendering the soil. You continue to do it, the bamboo shoot is not more than an inch. But once it begins to shoot, it grows out to 100 meters in 5 weeks. I'll quickly now posit these degrees. Mr. Chairman, sir, may I ask the distinguished audience, ladies and gentlemen, how do you deal with problems? Are you stage 1, problem identifier? Or are you stage 2, problem identifier and solution identifier? Or are you stage 3, problem and solution and solver identifier? Or are you stage 4, perhaps a problem identifier and a compulsive solution seeker? Who amongst us is stage 5, problem identifier, compulsive solution seeker, and solution provider? This is first class, which a lot of you belong, or even stage 6, which tops. You also facilitate growth of other people. Mr. Chairman, sir, may I ask again, the young doctors and researchers sitting on the front row here with us, watching us today. Young researchers, if you are not at stage 6, what can you do about it? How will you get there? So as Barack Obama speaks to me, well, as Barack Obama speaks, and he speaks for me too, we can make the right choices and meet the challenges that face us. If you feel the same energy that I do, if you feel the same urgency that I do, if we do what we must do, then I have no doubt that we will all strive towards stage 6. Be the solution provider, the solver identifier, and the solver promoter. Be the solver through research. As we make our contributions towards achieving universal health coverage, where we have equity to leave no one behind, quality to provide appropriate standards of care, and financial protection so that no one suffers catastrophic healthcare expenditure. Disruption is happening. It is inevitable, and we should take it as an opportunity and embrace it. Once again, Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished members of the Board of Trustees, eminent professors and fellows of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine, thank you for inviting me here today. The resilience, despite the challenges we face, shows that a lot more can be done. What would ordinarily have been a big flamboyant ceremony has been made simple and still has not lost its relevance, has not lost its importance, and has not lost its glory. I congratulate you all for shining light upon light. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you very much. Please don't. We want you to now put on your video. We appreciate you can stop sharing your slides while you put on your video so that we can see you, because you are being approved by the Board of Trustees for the award of fellowship of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine. So stop slide sharing, put on your video so you can see you, and then we invite the chairman for the fellowship of the academy on you. That was a brilliant, though short because of our time, but we have really done justice. Dr. Jerry, please. We can see you now. Highlight. Let's spotlight. Dr. Jerry now. While I invite the chairman of the Board of Trustees to confer the fellowship on Dr. Fatima Kyari. Mr. Chairman, sir.
In the name of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine, by the authority vested in me and my Board of Trustees, I give you as fellow DL. And now put on your cap and make sure the tassel is on the left side, as we now have all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. Congratulations. Well done. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Once again.
Congratulations, Dr. Fatima Kyari.
Once again, sir. Thank you very much.
Let's give her a round of applause wherever we are. So we are voted. We are happy to have Dr. Fatima Kyari with us. Our other keynote speaker, we lost the connection because he was sharing his slide at the same time his video, and the technology failed us. We can see that. Can you see him? I can see Dr. Professor Tomori online. Can you make him co-host? What I can't see is video. Because without his video, it will be difficult to confer the fellowship. I can see so many people still staying in the waiting room, even though we have announced that it's for only fellows. Can you get Dr. Professor Tomori, Oyewale Tomori online? If you are unable to do that, we have to move on with the induction. He has given us a brilliant talk, but he couldn't conclude it. Let us take the next item on the agenda, which is the admission of fellows. Mr. Chairman, sir. We have 72 fellows apart from the members of the Board of Trustees who have completed all the registration requirements in line with section 9PC of the Memorandum of Association. They have also signed bond of obligation, which commits them to the Nigerian Academy of Medicine. We are constrained for time, but if we are to go in alphabetical order, I hope the crew will be able to follow me to spotlight each of these individuals. The first is Agaji Martins, Professor Martins, A.C. Agaji. Professor E. Oluwale Akande. I've seen the bond of obligation. Read their names.
Professor Akande is here.
Why you spotlight the individual and see.
Yes, Professor Akande is here.
And is here. Have you signed your bond of obligation, sir?
Yes, I have signed the bond of obligation.
Thank you very much.
Which I hereby display.
Congratulations. Dr. Professor Abayomi Akanji.
I'm here.
From the United States.
I'm here.
One, I have a copy, and I can see the one is displaying. Congratulations, yes. Thank you.
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Next is Professor Ibironke Akinchete. You have signed your bond?
Yes, I have signed my bond of obligation, which I hereby display.
Thank you, ma'am. Congratulations. Next is Professor Olabipekun Camille Alawusa.
I am here, and I've signed the
obligation, sir.
Oh yes, I've signed and sent it to the Secretariat. Thank you.
Yes, we have gotten a copy. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
We want Dr. Tilewa, Major General Amusu.
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Congratulations, ma. Professor Obot E. Antia Obong.
I've signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you, sir. Professor Stanley Namdi, SNC.
Yeah, I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you. Next is Professor Rashid Ajani Aromudade.
Yes, I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Next is Professor M. Aderonke Bareroju. I can see
yes. I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you, Madam. Next is Professor Christopher Bode.
Yes, thank you, sir. I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you, CMD. Next is Professor M.M. Borodo. Professor Mohammed Musa Borodo, the house.
I have signed my bond of obligation, which I hereby display.
Thank you. Congratulations. Next is Professor Bababode Oduwoye. Professor Oduwoye, are you in the house? Next is Professor Okubo Benedict Da Militaria. Are you in the house? I've received its bond of obligation as it called. Next is Professor Muiz Durosimi. After Professor Muiz Durosimi is Professor Ifeoma Egwonu. Brother Durosimi, have you shown your bond of obligation?
I have. I have signed my bond of obligation, which I hereby display.
Thank you.
Professor Ifeoma Egwonu.
Professor Ifeoma Egwonu, thank you very much. Next is our distinguished emeritus professor all the way from America, Professor Siri Obiora Ewowu. Was anyone who is not on the line? They are in the money in America now. Next is Professor George Defola Esson. Professor Esson is on the line. You are muted, sir. Unmute yourself. Professor Esson. You are muted, but we can see you.
Can you hear me now?
Can we hear you now? We can hear you now, sir.
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations, sir. Next is Professor Clement Ezechukwu.
I've signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you. Next is Professor Emmanuel Ezeome. Professor Ezeome.
I have signed my bond I have signed my bond of obligation as a
Thank you very much. You can see you displaying it. Next is our distinguished Professor Shima Kaimon Gill. Dr. Gill, sir. Gill is online. Gill, Professor Gill, SK Gill. He sent a chat recently, and I've seen his certificate, I've seen his bond of obligation. In time, we go to Professor Abba Waziri Azan. Professor Azan. Is he still online? We have internet connectivity problem. Professor Oye Gureje. Mr. Gureje, are you online?
Yes, I am. Yes, here is my signed bond of obligation being displayed.
Thank you. We can see your signed bond of obligation. Congratulations, sir. Professor Enabong Ipeme. Treasurer, Professor Ipeme.
Yes, I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which is hereby displayed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Olusho Ebun Afolabi Leshi.
Thank you. I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you very much, Provost, former Provost. Next is Professor Idris Mohammed. I saw him online.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
You have signed your bond of obligation.
I have signed, I hereby declare that I have signed my bond of obligation, which is hereby displayed.
Thank you. Congratulations, sir. Professor Philip Michelboala, Secretary General.
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you very much. Next is Dr. Major General Simeon Unjoku, who is abroad, who have seen his bond of obligation saying.
Yes.
Are you online?
Yes, I'm online.
General.
I hereby declare that I've signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Next is Professor Clement Tukuma Nwawolo. We can see you, Major General. You can sit down. Next is Nwawolo. Put on your video. We want to see your bond of obligation. I have a copy with me. Next is Professor John Obafunwa. I saw a call from him now. I think it's probably having difficulty connecting. I've seen his bond of obligation, which has been signed. Next is Professor Kayode Oduchote, one of the brains from the start to care about this academy. Put on your video, sir, so we can see your bond of obligation. Next is Professor Olasubomi Ogedengbe. Are you there, ma'am? Please unmute yourself to be clear that you are signed. You can see that you are there. Unmute.
All right. Which I hereby display obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Congratulations. Dr. Major General Obashina Ogunbiyi. General of the field, we are present. Professor Olufemi Ogunbiyi, I know he's online because he sent me a chat not too long ago. Put on your video. Professor Femi Ogunbiyi, the pathologist. Are you still online? Next is Professor Eyitope Ogunbodede.
Thank you very much. I've signed my bond of obligation as a fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine, and the electronic copy is hereby displayed.
Thank you very much. We have seen that a copy to us. Next is Professor Adeshola Ogunniyi.
Yes, I have signed my bond of obligation, which is hereby displayed.
Thank you. Next is Professor Folashade Ogunshola.
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Congratulations, madam.
Thank you.
Well done. Next is Professor Samuel Ohegula, NNOA. Is Professor Ohegula here? I saw him earlier with his technology again. Next is Professor Friday Okonofua. After that, it's Professor Olaitan Adebola Abayomi Olaitan. That's Cynthia Ademola Abayomi Olaitan. Your videos how you can see you displaying.
I've signed my board of obligation can now display.
Thank you. Next is Professor Emiola Olubunmi Olapade Olaopa. Professor Olapade Olaopa. Next is Dr. John Olatosi. I saw him online.
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
see a number of people who are out of the, and they are now in the waiting room. There are some people who are just coming in because they left not on their own because of technology.
Yeah. I've sent to them, no sound. I've sent to them, there's no sound.
Can we see the bond of obligation? Please display. Okay, for now we can move to Professor Soji Oluwole from the United States. Are you online, Professor Oluwole? Please unmute yourself.
I've signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you very much. Up next is Professor Omigodun Akinyinka. Professor Akinyinka Omigodun. I'm getting call for Professor Omigodun Olayinka. Is she in? Technology again for the Omigoduns, but they have signed the bond of obligation. Professor Onadeko Babatunde. Professor Onunu Abel Onunu, I saw you coming. Please unmute.
It is my privilege to know that I've signed the board of obligation as a fellow. I wish us a happy outing.
Thank you. Professor Kike Lomo Oshinusi. Oshinusi. I saw him before. Professor Gimi Oshisoya. For them.
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you very much. Next is Professor A.B.O. Olukayode Oyediran.
What's your idea?
Professor Oyediran, sir. Please unmute, Professor Oyediran. No microphone. Next is Professor Benjamin Ozumba. Professor B.C. Ozumba, are you in the house? Yeah. Vice Chancellor, former Vice Chancellor, unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I have signed my bond, and it is here displayed electronically. Can we see it?
Next is our former Vice Chancellor, Professor. Please unmute and let's hear you.
At this, I've signed my bond. I've signed my bond of obligation. You can see it here. Thank you. I've signed my bond of obligation. Thank you.
Next is Professor Abba Sego. Abba Omatunde Sego. Sego.
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow.
Thank you. We have seen it. We have seen. We have also received your electronic copy. Next is Professor Salako, BA, Babatunde Salako, DG.
Thank you very much, sir. I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you very much. Next is Professor Bello Bala Shehu, BP Shehu.
Thank you very much, sir. I hope you can hear me. I've signed my bond of the and it is hereby displayed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Professor MT Demitayo Shokumbi.
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow. I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, and I hereby display it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done. Professor Uraola Shokumbi.
I have signed my bond of obligation, which I hereby display. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We have also received a copy. Professor Olukwemiro Shodende from the United Kingdom. Can you join us? Shodende, did you join?
I have.
Let's see you displaying your bond of obligation.
I have signed my bond of obligation, which I hereby display.
Thank you very much. Next is Professor Olushoga Shofola, Emeritus Professor Shoga Shofola.
Yes, thank you.
I have signed my bond of obligation, which I hereby display. Thank
We
you.
can hear you, but we can't see the bond of obligation. Anyway, I've received a copy.
Can you see it now?
We can hear your voice.
So
Thank
that's
you,
the bond of obligation.
Professor G.O.A. Shoemimo. Shoemimo, sir.
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
Thank you, sir. My teacher, I've received a copy in the secretariat. Next is Professor Olaito Sonyawo. Are you there, ma'am?
Yes, I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, and a copy is hereby displayed.
Thank you very much. Next is Professor Owoido Udofia, National College Registrar. Are you there?
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which is hereby displayed.
All right, thank you. Next is Professor Innocent Achaya O. Uja, the NMA president. Are you online to display
Yes,
your bond of obligation?
I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow of Nigerian Academy of Medicine, which I hereby display. Have you seen it?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Professor Victor Chukuma Wakwe. Professor Wakwe, are you there? Next is Professor KDT Yawi. David Chena Yawi.
Academy of Medicine, which is hereby displayed.
Professor Omikpodun. Because I've called on Professor Omikpodun.
Please allow her. She's in the waiting room.
Is inside. Unmute yourself, please. I can see you inside. Put on your video and your audio. Professor. in carry of Professor Dr. Obafunwa.
Thank you, sir. I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow, which I hereby display.
We still want to hear Professor Akinka Omiponu. He's still muted.
I am here.
Well, I haven't taken this much time. I want to confirm that you have signed your bond.
Yes, I'm just able to log in because I just got the link. Which form?
The link has been sent several times, so sorry about that.
Sorry, I also just got the link from Professor Adewale just sent the link. I've been calling Professor Adetuyi several.
We want to confirm that you have signed your bond of obligation. In view of the confusion, we are admitting even any name that we can see, because we have some other people we have not been able to get their commitment.
Professor Oshinusi is here. I've been logged in and out.
When we called your name, in fact,
yes,
I went further to call it fully.
Sorry, I was logged out. Can I show my bond?
Please show your bond of obligation now.
Well, I have signed my bond of obligation and displaying it on the screen.
Yes, we can see it. We can see it, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Sorry, Shimegyo has been here from the beginning and I have to leave very soon.
We called you, sir. I even went ahead to say Professor Shima Kaimon Gio and say SK Gio.
Yes, and here is my bond. I have signed it as a fellow.
Not here. Copy that you said.
Have you opened me up?
Thank you.
I was logged out. Professor Lumide.
No, we called you.
I was logged out.
We saw you inside and we were asking you to move.
Yes, I was logged out. Okay. My bond of obligation signed, I herewith display. Okay.
Okay, sorry, but we want to, I say emeritus professor. We have seen it now. Thank you very much. Show us that is not. Thank you very much. We know we have a lot of technology challenge in Nigeria, but it will get better. But I can see it now. From the point of publication, Mr. Chairman, Professor Abba Azan, are you in? Because we can't see anybody outside waiting to be admitted. Professor Abba Waziri Azan.
Please, Professor Gumbi is still out, logged out.
On this platform, I can't see anybody waiting to be admitted.
No.
Sir, please, can I show mine? I had technical difficulties.
Yeah, you can show it now, Professor Clement Wawalo. We call you CC Wawalo.
Thank you, sir. I have signed my bond of obligation as a fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine, which I hereby display. Thank you, sir.
Is there anyone who is here present that we have not identified?
Yeah, Professor Agaji.
And Isaac Adewale.
I just called you as a Professor Martin Agaji. Earlier, you were not in the house.
Professor Isaac Adewale. Professor Isaac Adewale.
Can you display your bond of publication, please?
Yes, I've signed 2 documents. The certificate and the bond. Unfortunately, documents as member of the Academy of Medicine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any other person in the house who has not been so identified?
Isaac Adewale.
Isaac Adewale has been admitted as member of the Board of Trustees.
Professor Gumbi is still out.
Ogumbiyi, Femi, or Obashina?
Femi.
Can you see anybody in the waiting room? I can't see anybody in the waiting room now. Because of the challenge we have, even those who we don't know the name, I just say admit all. And we admitted everyone in the waiting room. Because of the fear that some people might have logged in not using their own name. The technical crew, can you see anyone in the waiting room? There's nobody in the waiting room here. So, Mr. Chairman, sir,
Ogumbi,
I want to admit those who have signed their bond of obligation.
He was
both who have shown it here and those who have sent copy to us electronically. Mr. Chairman, you are hereby invited. In the Nigerian Academy and by the authority vested in me as the Chairman Board of Trustees, I admit you all count are turned to the left side. always, as we now have all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. Congratulations. Round of applause for everybody. Now, is Professor Tomori with us now? Professor Oyewale Tomori, so that we can complete of technical issues. Nonetheless, Professor Tomori has sent the slides of his presentation to us, and this we are going to send to all members, all fellows. Professor Tomori, since he was with us, with your kind permission, Mr. Chairman, and he has given us a lecture, I'll invite you to kindly confer, because we can see him, but he's
Secretary, sir, I've just been re-allowed in now.
Yes. Professor Femi Ogubi, can you display your own? Because we saw you, we called you several times, but internet took you out. Nobody took anybody out at any time. But if your internet fails,
yes, but I got
out.
locked out. But I have signed my bond of obligation, which I hereby display now.
Thank you, Professor Ogubi, the pathologist, just like I called you earlier before. Thank you. Is Professor Abbas in now under any name? Because we have admitted everybody on the waiting room. But Mr. Chairman, with your kind permission, I implore that we publicly here admit all those who have signed bond of obligation, haven't registered. They have signed bond of obligation and forwarded copy to the Secretariat. In addition, Professor Oyewale Tomori, who was here present and gave us a talk, he couldn't complete it, that he has approved by the Board of Trustees that you confer on him the honorary fellowship. Mr. Chairman. In the name of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine, and by the authority vested in me as the Chairman of the Board of Trustees, I pitch you, Oyewale Tomori, as an honorary fellow there. You may now put on your cap anywhere you are and make sure the tassel is on the left side, as you now have all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. Congratulations. Thanks for your talk, and we receive your message that you tried everything possible for technicalities. Well done. Your slides will be sent to all fellows. Once again, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now we come to the end of this program. We are already 26 minutes late. We will take the goodwill messages from the National College, the NMA, West African College of Physicians, West African College of Surgeons. We can just take one sentence each from each of these bodies, starting with NMA. Professor Uda, are you here? Professor Uda has left.
Yes, I am the Secretary of Nigerian Academy of Medicine. I'm here, and I wish, yes, it is with gratitude and pleasure to appreciate the chairman and members of trustees of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine. This is historic, something that we've been looking forward to for a very long time. I want to specifically thank Professor Wole Atoyebi and our immediate past Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Folorunsho Adewale, for their doggedness and for all the other supporters that ensure that this has come to be. It's a milestone, and I'm very happy to be a foundation member, a foundation fellow of the Academy. And as a president of Nigerian Medical Association, this is happening during my time. I'm very, very happy about this. And we wish that our senior colleagues will support us and work with us in the Nigerian Medical Association. It's our professional body that all of us belong. I thank all of you and wish you well in the Academy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we call on Professor Mohamed Musa Borodo,
the president of the Academy and other board members. Yes. I hope I'm being heard.
Yes.
Okay. On behalf of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria and the Senate, the governing board, and all the fellows, it is my honor to congratulate the Academy for this important achievement. We do look forward to continuing cooperation, and we're glad to note that the idea of this Academy was muted by a forum of the past president of Nigerian Postgraduate Medical College. We have set a lot of agenda for us, and I do hope we'll be able to make a difference in the medical field in Nigeria. Thank you once more.
Thank you, Professor Ezome, the Vice President, West African College of Surgeons. I saw you online just now. Professor Ezome.
It's muted.
Unmute yourself. Okay, while we are waiting for him to unmute himself, we call on Professor Ebe Onunu, Vice President, West African College of Physicians. Ebe Onunu. Has he left? Well, I think we have taken some time. That's why some people have left. But we know they are with us.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Ezebe, we can hear you now. Vice President, West African.
We can't hear you.
Thanks. Professor Billy Dogo.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Can I go ahead with the vote of thanks?
Go ahead by thanking
The chairman of the academy, Professor Tolu Ade, members of the board of trustees here present, the secretary of the academy, the indefatigable Professor Wole Atoyebi, guest speakers on this occasion, Professor Tomori and Dr. Fatima Kyari, the president, Nigerian Medical Association, Professor Uja, the president, Nigerian Postgraduate Medical College, the president, West African College of Physicians, the president, West African College of Surgeons, distinguished foundation members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I think my job has been made very simple. Just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But let me say this, that I think we must appreciate God Almighty for making this day a reality. Many people have looked forward to this special day and were not able to make it. May their souls rest in peace. I can say that this induction exercise is a very big success. We all know that the journey to this day has been torturous, but we appreciate God that today we can celebrate that we have Nigerian Academy of Medicine, and we are also grateful that we are part of this celebration. I want to thank the chairman, members of Board of Trustees, the secretary, and everybody that have worked around the clock to make this occasion a big success. I want to thank the president of NMA, the president of the National Postgraduate Medical College, the president of the West African College of Surgeons, as well as the president of the West African College of Physicians, for the goodwill messages. We want to thank all foundation members who have found their time to be here on this occasion.
Yeah,
and we pray that God will continue to uphold this academy and make it a blessed one. Once more again, thank you all for coming. God bless you and congratulations to everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Billy Dogo.
Thank you, sir.
As we come to the end of this ceremony, let us all rise to the national anthem.
We are peace.
Mm.